Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to the elect Akim out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. Alright, this is going to be a lesson about the Israelites that are dispersed among the Gentiles. And I'm going to start by reading John 7 and 35. Alright, it says, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? And I wanted to start out with this verse because the Apostle Ariamlab, he brought this out in the NIV version, alright, because it breaks it down more clearly, alright, and I'm going to read it in the NIV right now. It says, it's like 35, okay, it says, the Jews said to one another, Where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people live, scattered among the Greeks, and teach the Greeks? What, because the word Gentile and Greeks in the New Testament refers to Gentiles, or refers to Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind, that have been scattered or dispersed among these other nations and kept their customs. Alright, and it was prophesied to happen because they didn't keep the law. Alright, and this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, and it says, And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other. Alright, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Alright, so this was a curse upon Israelites because they didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, that the Most High would scatter Israelites among all people, mingle with them, and start practicing their cultures. Alright, and he did this just to show his power, so that when Yahushua comes back, he's going to gather all of them. Alright, and this is why it's written in 1 Corinthians, Romans chapter 10, where is it? Where it says, I'll look for it. I know it's in Romans 10 and 12, my bad. It says, what? Oh, I'm in 1 Corinthians, my bad. Man, that's why I can't find it. Romans chapter 10, verse 12. For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for all the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. Now, he wasn't talking to all the Greeks. He wasn't talking about all the Greeks. He was talking about the Israelites that have been scattered and mingled with the Greeks at that time. Alright? Because if he was talking to all the Gentiles, or all the nations, he would have included them. But no, he was specifically talking about the Greeks because they were all up into the Greek customs. Alright? And you can read about that in 1 Maccabees. About how that well, I'll just read it. This is This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. Those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we are departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Alright, so basically they're catching a lot of hell from these other nations. So they're like, okay, well, let's just join onto them. Let's get license from them. Let's become citizens of their culture. Alright, it says, verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. Alright, so they started building arenas and gymnasiums and stuff like this according to the Greeks and the Romans customs, and not according to Israelite customs. Alright, it says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. Alright, so these people did away with the Bible and they're like, alright, we're Greeks now. Alright, they said they uncircumcised themselves, which meant that they literally like tied a weight around their foreskin and let it hang so that the foreskin would stretch and they'd be uncircumcised, so that they wouldn't be looked down upon being a Jew. Alright, because if you're a Jew among the Greek, you probably, you caught a lot of hell. Alright? It says, and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Alright? So, I mean, they were all about these other nations' customs. Alright? And this is why, the Most High, it's written in the Old Testament not to give your daughters unto the other nations, or take the other nations' women and put your seed into them, because after a while your children would go up and astray from the Israelite heritage to these other heathens, these other gods. All right. This is Psalms chapter 106, verse 35. Or I'll start at 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen, and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them, which is like a trap. Alright? Because I mean, this is happening today. Like today, somebody might be raised up a Methodist, but then they start dealing with a girl from their school that's a Catholic, and once they marry into that family, he becomes a Catholic. All right, same thing was going on back in the ancient world. All right, and I can prove that with the book of Ezra. It's like it. Man, oh man. Alright, this is Ezra chapter 9. Let's see. 9 and 2. It says, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands, yea, the hand of the princes and rulers that been chief in this trespass. Alright? So these Israelites were getting these other nations' women and started making babies with them, alright, which is against the Holy Covenant. Alright? And this happened for generations, because it goes on to say that even their sons were partaking in this mischief. Jumping down to verse 7, Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to the captivity, and to a spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is this day. And that word confusion of face means shamefaced, right? Because it's a shameful thing to be indoctrinated or accustomed with a heathenistic lifestyle, because you don't know who your true power is. You're suffering an identity crisis, right? You're in these captivities. You don't know what your heritage is. You don't know your history. You may not know who your real father is. That's a huge problem with Israelites today, all right? And it all goes back to the curses of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. This is why the prophets are out on the highways and byways, on every street corner or downtown in almost every major city in America. This is because it's happening again, all right, for the last time, all right, because the Israelites are calling out to you Israelites in a Gentile state of mind and an American mindset to come out of this. Start practicing the Israelite heritage, because that's what Paul was doing 2,000 years ago. All right, that he was calling to Gentiles or Israelites that were into a Gentile state of mind. To prove that real quick, this is James. This is James chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. All right? Because James was writing to Israelites that were scattered abroad. All right? This was never for any other nation, like the Christian churches today try to push that vibration. That the Bible is for everybody. No, it's only for Israelites. And Israelites have been scattered amongst all these different nations. All right? And the real Israelite, the original Israelites were dark-skinned people. All right? So you might have heard this Black Hebrew Israelite movement, but that's another form of demonization and trying to keep Israelites from waking up to who they are. Because when people see it, they see it as a black thing. But the ones that are preaching unto the Gentiles is great millstone. All right? We're Hebrew Israelites. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. All right? Because you're going to have Israelites coming back to their heritage looking like other nations, because we've mixed and mingled among them. And I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but man, you still have a lot of people of our people that still think that it's a black thing, but it's not. Because I'll tell you right now, man, as far as my father's lineage go, they were all white as far as I know. But I know, through the spirit that somewhere down the road, a so-called dark-skinned man was, my great-great-great-grandfather or whatever. But I mean, I can't trace back my lineage to him. Right? That's why the scriptures say, avoid foolish questions and vain lineage. All right? Because it was written, that's how you determine your nationality. That's how you know you're an Israelite, is according to your father's lineage. But of course, we've been mixed and mingled among everybody, that we can't trace back our father's lineage back to, the 12 tribes, back to Jacob. That's why the scriptures say this. This is Romans. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are children of the Most High. So it's by our spirit. That's how we tell how they're animated, how they walk, how they talk, if they have a zeal or not. This is Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer is to the Most High, for Israel is, that they might be saved. All right, so once again, he's talking to Israelites, that they might be saved. That's his prayer. Verse 2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. And that's something that you can tell with, that's a one discernment of how you can tell if somebody's an Israelite or not. Because Israelites definitely have that zeal that there's a higher power. All right, they just don't have the knowledge of who it is. All right, that's why we're out on the highways and byways telling our people that the real name is Yahweh, his son is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was a dark-skinned man. He was a Hebrew Israelite. He only died for his people. And he's coming back to save only his people and putting these other nations in subjection under him according to the Bible, man. Because there's been so many false lies and false religions, or whatever you want to call them, false idols, been pushed out among our people. So that's why the Most High is raising up these prophets today. That's why you see, these Israelite groups out on the street corners, man. It's to wake up the elect, so that we can get the hell out of here, so that the kingdom can come. All right. So with that, I hope this video is edifying. Oh yeah, another thing I just want to get into it real quick. Like you're gonna have people coming into this thing from every corner, man, wherever they've been scattered. All right, and they've been scattered everywhere. All right, from one end of the earth to the other. All right, so that means amongst so-called white people, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Like the Irish, for an example. That's where I trace back as far as I know. My family is Irish, right? But me growing up, in a private school, I was around mostly white people. But like the only people I hung out with, I perceived to be Jake. Because it's like a natural thing, man. Like two manner of people, like it says in Genesis. I think it's the 29th chapter, talking about Jacob and Esau. Esau has a totally different spirit from Jake. And I've like, when I started coming into the truth, I'd see, I try to tell who was Jake and Esau. And there's been, like, my friends that I had in the world, they were like German, they were like Polish, Italian. They all had like white features, so-called white features. But they were Jakes, man. I could tell because they were athletic, blonde hair, blue-eyed. Man, this one kid, he was very zealous, but he didn't have the knowledge of the truth. Super zealous. He was like Tim Tebow times 10. And he got lobster red in the sun. Blonde hair, blue eyes. He was very pale too. But that dude was a Jake, man. and if you just do some research about like the Irish, how they were treated when they came over to America, it fits Deuteronomy 28. If you look into the Italians, how they were treated when they came over, because you gotta think about it, they immigrated to America for a certain reason, right? It's because they were told that you can live a better life in America, all right? And if they were living a good life in Italy, why would they come over here? All right, they're fleeing hardship over there in Italy, so they're still under the curses of Deuteronomy 28 over there. They just carried the curses over here in America. Even the Germans. The German immigrants. Some of them were locked up in concentration camps along with Italians during World War I and II, and some of them were even deported back to their homelands. But Russians, Khabib Nurmagomedov, that dude's a jake. But I mean, you just do some research on these different countries and look up. Another one in India. Their whole belief system is that if you live a good life, then you're reincarnated in a wealthier lifestyle or as an animal. But in the scriptures, it says that you're reincarnated through your father's lineage. And they have a group of, I guess, minorities, if you will, called the untouchables. All right? And I look into that, man. Look into how these Chinese are treated in sweatshops. They it's like child labor, starting at a young age, working for, dirt cheap poor, and they have to fucking put nets on the side of the building so they won't jump out and kill themselves. Because they try to do that. They're trying to flee the curses, but that net is like that net catches them, puts them right back into Deuteronomy 28, man. Look into that, man. There's Israelites scattered abroad. And these curses hit you in a funny way. Because, like I said, like I grew up going to private schools and stuff, alright? Which from the outside looking in, that may be seen nice. 2-story house, you're going to private education, you're like, from the outside looking in, that seems kind of nice, but if you're living on the inside, you'd realize there's something fucked up about this. Because broken home, I didn't get the same scholarships as other minorities, if you will, which were jakes. But I mean, it's just these curses catch you in a weird way. You're gonna have people from different lifestyles coming into this thing. So with that, I hope this video was edifying, and shalom.